Hello students, welcome to your commerce class. So yesterday we all have done chapter number 7 of your book. Now we are going to start with the concept of planning. Planning is deciding in advance. Okay, we all are good dancers. We want to dance, we want to make ourselves happy, and we also want to make the society happy. Society is so much busy in their scheduled work that they want to get relaxed. Every solid dance studio business plan is the foundation, but they all plan to keep their studio bustling and busy for years coming. Now let us recall the names of famous dance academies in our city. It's Ronak Music Dance Academy, D4U, P2 Dance Academy, the famous Step Up Studio, Jhankar Beats, and many more. Okay, tell me which dance academy you want to join? I don't want to join any academy. I'm planning to open my own dance academy. Okay, now if I need to plan my own dance academy, I must first think of the persons or the professionals who have been in this line. Even the most passionate and creative dancers, choreographers, they planned enough to regulate or to start a business before. They dream of opening a studio, start with a business plans. So what we need? We need a roadmap and we need it to grow. What are the four main things to open a dance studio? First of all, love of dance. That is, one should have a passion of any business stream they want to do. Then is space, your locality, the size of area in which you are going to operate, the space available with you where you want to start with a business. Then is funding, availability of cash, whether you have your own available funds or want to take loan. Then according to the law, the attorney, we need a license if necessary. So we are making a running list of few essentials to guide. Now, first of all, we have to think about the dance studio expenses. So these are dance studio finances. What is it? Depending upon the location and size of the space, which area you want to open it. Now, what is whether you want to open it on rent or to buy. Then the most important is compensation for hired teachers. And if there is any licensing or legal fees, that we also have to pay. And your dance studio expenses comprises with all plans you make out. First of all, we lay down an executive summary. That is, we lay down a mission. Why we are opening it. Dance with beats, explore your talent, you must have a mission. Then is company description. That is telling about the professionals and uniqueness of your team. Why your dance studio is the best one. Then is market analysis. Now you have to move out and see what is happening in the market. To stack against other studios, you have to follow certain actions. First of all, you should be clear about the population demographics. Which age will be more appealing? Which age group will add you back? Which age group will join you? Bringing in a steady stream of students. Number of branches you want to open. Competitors strategy. There are many dance schools, so we have to think and we have to be aware about our competitors. How to remain competitive? What should we give so that to have more customers? Then challenges. What could be the various challenges which are coming in our path? Now we have analyzed our market. Now we will be making a flow chart that how it will be managed. Who will be the member in charge? What will be the various duties and responsibilities of employees? How will I expand my management team? What type of business will be mine? It's a limited business. it's a business in partnership, then taxes which I have to pay, any other liability if I have, then paperwork and registration. Most important, for any business to start up, you need some paperwork and registration also. Now, after deciding, we have to attract the customers, we have to make our agenda more appealing. That's why we need products and services. So for a dance studio, what will be its product? What type of dance forms we are going to provide them? The type of classes, the time period for which a class will go. Can we be able to provide any private class? Special events and separate recitals. Or if we're going to organize special events, are we going to sponsor the tickets of the participants also? So and so. Now this is all curriculum. Next most important is financial projections. That is startup cost, investor, bank loan, monthly expenses, and software processes. Very important, because these days if you are not added on Facebook, if you are not linked with internet, if you are simply running a business, that's not be appealing. Then we have to see how much a student will pay for a class. Are we supposed to charge any registration fee, or we will provide them some packages? And we have to start with a ebook expert dance advisors, so that the one who wants to join the studio can enroll us online, can ask queries, can be a part of our studio, whether actively or dominantly. So we will start our topic by linking this example with your concept in the book. Hello students, welcome back to your commerce class. Yesterday we have completed our chapter number 7. Now all of you have read about the principles and functions of management. I hope you all have clarity about your concepts and you are making your notes also. Today we are going to start with the next chapter of this book, that is chapter number 8 of planning. Now we all know what is planning. Can anyone tell me what is planning according to a layman's language? So according to layman's language, planning is thinking about the future, deciding in advance what to do, when to do, where to do, who is to do it. That is called planning. Or another synonym for planning is forethought. For better clarity of this concept, you must all read page number 182 till 185. Now, while going through this chapter, you will cover the objectives. First of all, meaning and importance, steps in planning, importance of different plans, limitations of planning, objectives, policy, procedures, method, rule, budget, program. Along with this, these are the new key terms which you have to cover in this chapter. First of all, starting with the meaning of planning, what is planning? Planning is the process of thinking about the activities required to achieve a desired goal. It is the first and foremost activity to achieve desired results. Now see, it's a process of thinking. Process of thinking, that is, you are planning in advance, you are thinking in advance, deciding in advance what you want to, where you want to go, how you reach there, what are the various actions which you have to perform while doing the same. This is first and the foremost activity, the most important activity in the process of management. While reading about this chapter, you must follow the given link here for exploring this chapter very clearly. First of all, do view this link for better clarity of the chapter. Now, discussing the meaning of planning, our next important topic is to cover the key terms. So, we all know planning is a blueprint for action. A blueprint for action means that, okay, if we think about military operations, when we talk about troops, so they keep on marching, they keep on defending ourselves, but this is not a game of a single day. This happens every day by the heads of the department. They keep on planning how to protect our one's country boundary from the attack of the enemies, and they keep on making a blueprint where to where to put some sepoys, how to arrange them so as the country must be protected. Or we can also take another example, like you people appear for exams. In the classes, the teachers used to tell you that your exam will consist of 10 questions of 2 marks each, or it will consist of 10 questions of 3 marks each. Prepare it accordingly. So what is this? It's a blueprint. Now we will talk about the planning premises. So what are planning premises? Planning premises means an environment in which you want to plan, and the certain surrounding factors which affect you, that are called planning premises. These premises are of the following types. First of all, internal premises. Internal premises means the internal factors of the organization affecting the working. Example, men, money, material, machines, and so on. Second is external premises. That is the surroundings, the externalities which affect the business organization, like government policies, government rules and regulations, and these days, very good example is lockdown activity. Next is controllable premises. Certain factors which are under the control of the organization, that are controllable premises, like policies, their rules, because they are flexible, they are changed according to the need of the hour. Next is tangible premises, which you can see, which you can measure, that are tangible premises. For example, production quality. If it is not okay, then it can be changed. Then the next is unforeseeable premises. Unforeseeable premises which are not anticipated but are contingent in nature, like war, strikes, natural calamities, etc. So, if you go for examples of planning, what are the different plans made in the society? Like architectural designs, architects design the buildings before actually putting that design into a shape. Planning session in schools, before the starting of the session, the whole planning is done. Which teacher will take which subject, how many students will be sitting in a single section, which subjects will be taught to them, how are they taught. So all planning is done in advance. Planning by doctors for providing latest aids in hospitals. Then planning of budget and incomes. Planning for budget, for expenditure and incomes. Your parents, you yourself, okay, you yourself think that when you have a 500 rupee note in your pocket and you are planning how to spend it, to save something out of it or to spend it in whole. Next is planning in MNCs. Now if you go a little bit for a big scale, planning is also taking place in MNCs, and they take place for product design, advertisements, strategies, etc. These were the few examples of planning areas. Now, we all know well plan is half done. If you have planned properly, your work is almost done in half. While talking about planning, we come across the nature of planning in various ways. First of all, planning is goal oriented. Planning is done to achieve certain aim, to have an objective and to plan for the same, to decide for the same, that is goal oriented. Planning is done to achieve a proper aim. Next is pervasive. Pervasive is at all levels of management. Planning is performed at all the levels of management, whether it is top management, middle, or lower. Okay, now there can be a question that decisions are to be taken by top. So, what is the relevance of lower management? No doubt, decisions are planned, actions are planned by the top management, but they are executed by the lower management by their planning on their own scale. Next is continuous. Planning is a continuous process. We keep on planning every day. Next is intellectual. Planning is a intellectual process. What does it mean? That planning is a thinking process. It involves creativity. Next is futuristic. Planning is a futuristic process. You think about the future, you are deciding the future actions. Planning involves decision making. We are planning because we want to take certain decisions. Next is planning involves choice. When we plan, we go for various alternatives, and while executing the plan, we choose the best alternative. Then is managerial function. Planning is a managerial function. Mainly it is done by top management only. So it's a proper managerial function. Now, we could add in it that planning is essential in every aspect of life. It doesn't mean that it is required in organizations, in MNCs, in schools, hospitals. It is required in every aspect. Plan period can be short or long depending upon the circumstances. Planning helps in facing functional development. We plan to complete a proper project. We plan to analyze a proper function. Now, after discussing the characteristics of planning, we will come to the objectives of planning. That why is planning done? Why is there a need of making plans? First of all, plans help in reducing uncertainty. If you have planned well, then there are less chances of risk. Or you have already prepared for taking risk, you have a backup to cover that risk. Next is brings cooperation and coordination. Now, when you have planned properly, if your planning is okay, then there is cooperation and coordination in your activities among the employees. Employees know what they have to do, till what time they have to achieve their targets, and how they are going to complete it. So they are cooperating and coordinating with each other. It reduces competition. How it reduces competition? Suppose if for a product line, say manufacturing of steel, there are 2 or 3 companies and they are manufacturing steel on daily basis, their workers are satisfied with them, they are reducing competition because first thing is workers are satisfied. Second thing, they have planned that how much they want to produce to satisfy the need of their customers. Next is achieving the predetermined goals. So, planning is analyzed after the actions have been resulted in certain products. But if you have planned well, it means you have achieved almost your predetermined goals. So predetermined goals are that for starting the planning process, you require certain aims to be fulfilled. For example, if we think about a student's life, now all people are in 12th standard, you all must have been planning for your career. So now you are studying, you are planning how to be in a good career position after 12th. Almost all of you have thought that where we want to go. So this is achieving the predetermined goals. Next is economy in operation. Now, if work is planned, so there will be less cost Because when you hurry, when you make haste, you have to pay more to meet your needs. But if you have planned properly, you can arrange them in advance and it will cost you less. And the last is anticipates unpredictable contingencies. That is, you are prepared in advance to meet the uncertainties. That suppose there is a war breakout, there is a natural calamity, or okay, let us take an example. These days lockdown is going on, it's unpredictable. So all MNCs, the whole India, rather the whole world is planning how to cope up with this pandemic and to cover the economical losses also. So these were the objectives of planning. So till now, what we have covered in this chapter: the planning, its meaning, its feature, its nature, the objectives of planning, the types of planning premises, and why we are following this chapter. Now, our next topic is steps in planning process. That how planning process keeps on going. First, very common step is setting up of objectives. So, first of all, goals are determined, objectives are set, what we have to achieve, what we want to achieve, what would be our aim, where we want to go. First of all, the organization decide where they want to be. Now, the objectives can be of three types. First of all, it can be individual, it can be sectional, it can be departmental. First of all, organization decides about the organization objective only. That they are thinking about organization's welfare, organization's benefit. As we all know, organization is a separate entity. So they are thinking individually about the organizational only. Then organization is divided into various sections and every section has its own objective to be achieved. So when sections have been divided, those sections are given departmental heads and every department has its own objective to achieve in time. This is the main objective. These are derivative objectives. These two derivative objectives help in achieving the individual objective of the organization. Now, when organization has set the objectives, they develop premises after it. We have all read in the starting the types of planning premises. So, first of all, premises are the environment. They are the conditions in which we are able to execute the plan. So, first of all, after setting the objective, now organization is creating an environment how to go for achieving the same objective. Next is identifying alternatives. Then, after setting up a condition in which plans can be executed, arranging all the things, now organization is identifying the various choices. They are making their choices, they are putting their options ahead of them. They are putting options in front of them and from which they have to choose. Now, their alternatives can be primary, it can be secondary, it can be key factors. Primary is the main objective. Why organization has been set up? What is the main goal of organization? Is it increasing sales? Is it profit maximization? Is it customer satisfaction? Whatever. Then secondary. Secondary can be quality, up-to-date quality, better employee services, better customer services, after-sales services, and so on. Then is the key factor. That deciding out of these two alternatives, what would be the limiting factor, the key factor which will be the main factor that symbolizes the logo of the organization. So if we go for taking example of your own school, its logo is work works. That if we keep on working, we'll achieve our objective. Then the next one is evaluating alternatives. Now you have decided primary, secondary and key factors. Now you are evaluating alternatives. Evaluation means judging your choices on the basis of cost and benefits. Which alternative will cost you how much and what are the various benefits you are going to achieve out of it. This is evaluation of alternatives. Now, after evaluation, you are selecting the best alternative out of it as per your own requirement. That how much cost I can bear, how many number of employees I have to fulfill those aims, and many more. Now you have made your choice. Now it is the time to decide the best plan or to put the best plan into action. Now when you formulate such plan to secure cooperation from others, we tell others our plans so that others also agree with the same, so that it can be done with full cooperation. And the last is follow-up action. That is reviewing periodically. Timely, you have to take feedback that whether you are doing it properly or not. That you are setting a climate. If you execute a plan, will it be okay? Now, this was our today's topic. I hope all of you have clarity about the planning. Now, you must read all the pages from 182 till 185 and follow the link for more clarity of the concept. And now you have to answer these questions in your fair notebook. First, explain different type of planning premises, discuss the planning process, what are various objectives for framing plans. This was all your today's topic, the topic of planning. Plan for the next pages for tomorrow's lecture. Thank you.